Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a video to show you how to use Paxton Patterson real briefly, just kind of to get you started. So here's the website, lms.paxpat.com. You're going to have to log in. Now, I'm not sure what your username and password is. I'm sure they will get you set up with one, but once you log in, yours, of course, that's a picture of me and my son, so you'll be able to tweak it and make this your own. But what you'll see is right now I have two classes that I've used this with that are active, third and fourth period, because those are my eighth grade classes. I have a master course, which is the found like the um, unedited version of each station. Here I have Latham Master Course, which is the edited version. So I have these stations set up in my classroom, but I don't have all the materials, or I've had to get different materials throughout the years, and I've tweaked the activities to match the materials that I have. So if I click on the Latham Master Course, you'll see the things that I have um, already. Now, I do have the student introduction because I do have the students go through, so it's a whole separate course as to like kind of an understanding of how the system works. I have built two of my own stations just because over the years I've gotten pretty familiar with the layout. It's tricky. I don't know that it's something you want to do, but I did just because I wanted to. So anyway, you do not have to use those. They are very basic, not a lot of information involved, but you are welcome to use them if you want to. But what we have, what I do in the beginning of the school year is the students go through the student introduction, takes about a day to read over how they're graded, how to navigate the system, and it would be really good for you to do this as well. But then we start the whole unit out together doing flight technology. So if I click on that, you'll see that it's broken into 10 days. On day 5, there is a test, and then again on day 10. So if we start on day 1, there are pages. So it's like a chapter, and these are the different pages in that chapter. So if you start on the very first page, you'll see there's a flight technology overview. So kind of gives the objectives, what some of the activities are, different careers that will relate to that. If you hover over the career, you'll see it gives some information about it. So to kind of give you, kind of some info, or for the kids to look over it. I just simply have the students take a couple minutes. I used to have them pull out some information. I had a paper that I'd give them to pull out some information of, what careers are related to this. What are some of the activities you're going to be doing? That's up to you on how you want to run things. That's just something I had added. All right, so then they're going to move on to the next page. There is just a little true false questions, kind of a test your knowledge. So what's your understanding of the content already? I always have them do that. All right, then you're going to get into some of the information. So you can see we're already on page 3 of 11. This they can hit listen, and it'll read them the captions here. So
in the 1200s, Arab traders.
okay, and then there are practice questions. So I always encourage them to do those. However, if they answer incorrectly, it's going to keep giving them more and more questions. So it's really important that they answer it correctly so it doesn't keep giving them more questions. But they can also just simply hit next. So it just depends on how structured you want that to be. Okay, so they click through, they listen or read through the information. Sometimes there is little videos they need to watch, learning all about the topic. And sometimes when they click listen, there's extra information being said that's not actually being typed. So they may need to, I would encourage them to listen to each caption. This is a quick video. So you'll see there's content each day that they need to be responsible for learning. So they need to take the time and actually read and listen to the information. And then on usually the last page or the last couple pages, you'll see this little time clock, and that represents an activity. So because on the master course from the Paxton Patterson, I did not have that software, so I created my own activity. It is a movie, it's a video, it's about 20 minutes long, and there's notes to go with it. I know that's not the most exciting thing to do, but I've always enjoyed rocketry, and this video goes through the history of NASA, and it's just a condensed view, a condensed video with all the good stuff. So I haven't watched the movie, take the notes, and then what they do is on here they submit their copy of the notes. So they have to make a copy of this once they open it up. And then on their screen, they'll have the option to upload a document from their Google Drive. So then you will be able to view that. Okay, so that's kind of the basic layout. So every day, so that was just for day one. There's content to learn and then an activity to do. So if we go back to flight technology, so then day two, of course, there's more information. So these are like pages of information if you look at the icon, and then the activity. Rocket launch, that's another activity that I came up with myself, the rocket launch simulator, because I did not have the materials that matched the Paxton Patterson's master course. All right, so then day three is when they start building the rocket. So they've got a little bit of information to learn, and then building the rocket, nose cone, and body. Here's where you're going to see a lot of me. So the kids can, of course, go through, read through everything. But what I found to be a little bit easier, and this is what I've done, is I made a YouTube video for each step of the building of the rocket. So you're welcome to use that. It's also on my YouTube channel, but it's kind of helpful in that way. Okay, so every day there's information to listen to and then an activity to complete. Until you get to day 5, then there's a checkpoint test. Day 10, on day 10, they not only have the test and info to listen to, but there's career planning. So what they would do were they would pick one of these activities, or one of these jobs, one that they want. There's this ONET website that they click on, and it gives them all kinds of information. So you'll see there's a career planning form linked on here, and they pick the career and then pull out some information about it. Again, submitting their evidence, they're going to submit that there. All right, so as far as grading, so let me go ahead and pull up my class, specific third period class. So on flight technology, if I had day 10 careers, career planning, if I wanted to see the activities that they submitted, I would go up here to this check mark where it says evidence. Now, I honestly, because we did this one together, I just went around and checked theirs. But here's where they would have the evidence submitted. So I can kind of show you maybe on a different activity that maybe they did. Let's try this one. Evidence. Okay, so here's where I can either accept it, I can click on it, I can either accept it or reject it, depends on how well they did. So this is all, I've accepted all of these kids' work. They did a great job. So that's where you check it. Now, how I grade is I had a days 1 through 10 sheet that I'd give them in the beginning of each station. And every day when they completed their activity, they brought their check sheet to me. I checked over, either went to their desk and looked at their activity, or just got right on Paxton Patterson, pulled this up, checked the link, said, okay, you're good. Or if they didn't do it, then I circle it and say, okay, you need to show this to me later. So that's how I ran my class. Is it perfect? Probably not. Definitely not, but it worked. So on the grades tab, you can see how they did on all of the tests. So I always put these in the grade book. So I did, day 5 checkpoint test. So I would pick like whatever rotation. I called them rotations. So whichever, this was flight technology that we did together. But if they were working after that, they got to pick their own station. And I would say, okay, this is rotation 1 because Carmen might have been working on digital manufacturing while Justin was working on virtual architecture. So I just call it rotation 1, whatever they got on that test. And I would put that in the grade book. So these were, so on day 5 and day 10, they got 2 grades. And then I would put the daily check sheet grade. So there were 10 days. Every day they would get 10 points for doing their work and staying on task. So that would also go as a grade in the grade book. Okay, so the biggest challenge with this is A, keeping them on task as they're working independently on different stations, and B, making sure that you have the right materials each day to complete the station. So it's going to be tricky at first because it has taken me years to build the program as I want it. So you're welcome to use, my master course, but we did get you a bunch of materials so that your classroom will match up a little bit better with the way the updates that they have provided. Okay, all right. Well, that's all I can think of at the moment to tell you about Paxton Patterson. It's just yeah, just make sure they're staying on task and that they are learning.